Hello, one and all. It's my view of My Hero Team Vigilantes, chapter 120, rooting for ya. And finally, the heroes arrive. It is about goddamn time. Seriously, where have you people been? I mean, oh yes, you were fighting the bomber types. But let's not forget, a good 5-6 chapters ago, Six summoned all the bomber types to him. So yeah, there's really nothing else they could have been doing other than just evacuating civilians. Plus, let's not forget the fact that Six is a giant glowing ball of plasma in a city that's in the middle of a blackout. You could spot him from many, many miles away, and yet the heroes are just now getting here now. What the freak? But anyway, though, you think, hey, the heroes are here, Koyuchi's saved, yay! Well, not so much, because as best I can tell, only Best Genius has actually arrived. The other heroes are still on their way. I mean, Edgeshot might be here, but definitely seems like Aizawa and Ingenium are still running. They're still heading towards the battle. And Best Genius, he's a great hero. He's a very powerful hero. He is not a hero that is overly suited for this particular combat encounter because, his quirk lets him control clothing. And I'm not sure if you noticed it or not, but Six is, kind of naked, completely and utterly naked. He's mostly just a skeleton and a brain at this point, but of course, Best Genius can control other people's clothing as well, and again, that's great and all, but let's not forget that Six, his, brain in a skeleton, is surrounded by a body made out of burning plasma. So any clothing that Best Genius tried to use to restrain or take out Six would just immediately burst into flames and turn to ash. Very, very bad matchup here. I guess he's mainly going to serve as backup here, helping to evacuate the civilians, helping to keep them calm, and, I don't know, maybe giving Koyuchi a whole new outfit. I'm not sure how skilled he is, but I would so love to see Best Genius make Koyuchi a new All Might hoodie, a new Crawler hoodie. Oh, that'd be amazing. It'd be so abso-friggin-lutely amazing. Maybe like in the epilogue of the series, Best Genius could visit him in the hospital and say, here, in case you ever need to be a hero again. Oh, I would love that. I would so love that. And then they just basically need to buy time until the rest of the heroes arrive. Though, even when they do, I'm not really sure how useful any of them would be. They're all heavy hitters, but let's run down this. Edgeshot, his quirk lets him, turn his body into a needle or something, which allows him to sneak up on his foes and deliver devastating surprise attacks. Yeah, that's definitely a powerful quirk, but again, Six's body is wrapped in burning plasma. There is no way that Edgeshot could even close to that without, burning himself very, very badly. It might even kill him. Ingenium, he's fast, but that's basically all he is. He can probably deliver some really powerful punches and kicks at super speed, but again, he'd be punching burning plasma. He would severely damage his armor and possibly burn his skin. Not really a great strategy, especially when you consider the fact that Six can regenerate his, limbs over and over again. He's done it a dozen times in this fight already, so yeah, Ingenium's kind of useless. Finally, there's Aizawa, who I am the most hopeful for, but what exactly is the range on Aizawa's quirk? How far away can he be from a person before he's able to negate their quirks? Because, Six's body, the burning plasma body, isn't actually his real body, it's the bomber cells. And if Aizawa wants to nullify his quirk, he needs to target the brain itself, which is, a good 200 feet up in the air, and surrounded by, again, burning freaking plasma. So we'd have a very hard time getting close enough and high enough to actually be able to nullify the quirk. Maybe that's just what the rest of this fight's going to be, all the pro heroes working with Koyuchi as he holds down Six, as he distracts him until they can get Aizawa close enough to nullify his quirk, and then he just, falls to the ground and dies as a brain. It'd be a rather grim ending to this fight, but maybe? I just don't really see how any of the pro heroes are actually going to be able to keep this fight going without Koyuchi's help. And Koyuchi is, very, very badly wounded. Maybe Best Genius can make some, splints for all his broken limbs and help him, not be in so much pain, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, though, back to the chapter, Koyuchi and Six are having a lot of fun, fighting back and forth, frolicking as if they're dancing. And All For One is, just really, really confused about how it is that they are, continuing to move, how they're continuing to push themselves, even though they should have long, long reached their limits. How have they reached the domain beyond the singularity? How does one arrive there? How do I arrive there? And he's met with a very unexpected response by Knuckle Duster, who says, "A scumbag collector like you would never get it." And this terrifies him. This might be the first time in the entire history of the series where I've legitimately seen All For One actually be afraid. He is freaked out because what he just encountered completely defies his understanding of the world. A ghost just appeared behind him. A ghost of someone whose quirk he no longer holds. And this just says so very, very much meaning. I mean, first off, he shouldn't be seeing Knuckle Duster at all. I mean, yes, he stole Knuckle Duster's quirk, which would allow him to see Knuckle Duster's quirk vestige, but he has long since given that quirk up to 6, so there should be no connection between him and Knuckle Duster. And what's more, All For One stole the quirk when Knuckle Duster was still o'clock, when he looked vastly differently than he does now, and yet here he's appearing as Knuckle Duster. That means that not only is there a connection between All For One and Knuckle Duster, despite the fact that All For One already gave up the quirk, but there's also a connection between Knuckle Duster and his quirk, even though it is passed hands from himself to All For One to 6. What the freak are quirks? I probably should have asked that quite a while ago, but seriously, what are quirks? I mean, they are clearly something beyond the physical. They're something spiritual. They are something that goes beyond that world's understanding of science. And it seems like if a person is, really willing to dig deep, they're able to obtain like a ridiculous, almost infinite amount of power from their quirk that allows them to keep going even when they're long past their physical limits. It is something spiritual, and I am very, very interested in seeing what happens with this moving forward. I mean, you could even probably argue that the reason why Koyuchi is able to see the ghost of Knuckle Duster and Pop is because he has passed the quirk singularity. He has reached a new point. He has basically gone Super Saiyan and is now able to use the true power of his quirk and is therefore able to tap into the quirk realm, the spiritual realm, and takes power from it, connects to it, and can now see dead people as a result of it. I mean, this is interesting. This is really, really interesting, and I'm very curious to see what happens with this down the road. Anyway, though, then Koyuchi gets slapped, falls to the ground, and gets a nice cheering on from Pop's dance squad. Yay! They have finally served a purpose. They have finally served some kind of purpose. I mean, it's been a while, and it seems like all they really, were good for was cheering on Koyuchi, waking him up before he passes out from the pain, allowing him to, slow his fall down so he doesn't die instantly. I mean, he still takes quite a bit of damage when he hits the ground, but he slowed himself down enough to avoid it being fatal. Yay! And unfortunately for Koichi, he then realizes, wait a minute, there are people around us. Oh, I have been fighting over a very, very vast distance, haven't I? I accidentally led 6 into a crowded neighborhood. That's bad. That's really, really bad. And these people, they can't hear me yelling at them that they should run away. And they are apparently unable to notice the giant 200-foot tall glowing kaiju standing right behind me. Maybe these people should just die. They clearly don't have enough intelligence in them to continue living, so maybe 6 should have just killed them. But thankfully the cafe crew arrives. Yay! They save everyone while also advertising their cat cafe, which... oh, I love it. I absolutely freaking love that. And then the dance crew helps evacuate everyone, which is interesting, actually. I mean, I've been saying for a very long time that I thought by the time the main series ends, we'd see a drastic difference in hero society and in who's allowed to use their quirk and when, and this might have been foreshadowing of it. I mean, evacuating the civilians, keeping people away from, the hero and villain fights, that could be a job for, volunteer heroes, people who are, not like the pros who aren't getting paid, but just want to protect their fellow citizen. I mean, if they can pass a background check and do some basic training, then they'll be allowed to use their quirks to help, civilians stay away from the hero and villain fights. That can make a lot of sense, actually. Curious about that. Anyway, though, then the reporter comes back and gets way too close to the fight in order to try and evacuate the civilians who haven't noticed the giant flame monster standing very, very close to them. And then she gets knocked out of the sky, which... I mean, I would complain about it. I'd say she's an idiot for getting so close to 6, but she actually wasn't in reach of 6. 6 had to turn his arm into a giant flame whip to attack the helicopter. She was clearly far enough away where she thought she'd be safe. She was just, really, really wrong. And would have died because of it if not for good old Vigilantes. Huzzah! He's back, and he saved people. Good for him. And they just really did prove why he's a hero. Because the first thing he does isn't, attack the villain or back up Koichi or anything like that. Instead, he decides to calm down civilians, tells them it's okay, I am here, the heroes are here, the town is going to be safe now. That's a very important job for a hero, to make sure that everyone around them feels safe, to make sure that everyone around them doesn't die because of panic or stupidity. But those are my thoughts on this chapter. Please let me know down below. What do you think of the pro heroes arriving? What are they going to do? Are they all even here yet, or is it just Vigilantes? Is next chapter is going to be Koichi and Vigilantes teaming up to fight 6, and then it'll end with Aizawa and Genium edge shots just showing up, or are they going to arrive mid-chapter? Are they already here? What's going on with that? What exactly is the quirk singularity in reference to what All For One said here? How exactly have Koichi and 6 surpassed it? And what exactly does All For One want to get out of this? What's he want to do by surpassing the quirk singularity? And why did he see Knuckle Dasher's ghost? And why did it freak him out so badly? Oh, I love that. Absolutely freaking love that. Let me know down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you on the next video. And until then, peace!